Hey, it's been a while since I filmed with my face in front of the camera. If you're new here, I'm RJ. I do monthly unboxings, I do some other book related stuff, as well as a little bit of travel vlogs here and there. So today I am going to be sharing with you my January wrap up. I'm gonna share with you some book thoughts of mine. I'm not really a good book reviewer, but just sharing some of my thoughts of the books that I've read back in January. So in January I read 4 books, and 2 of them is actually Japanese literature. One is a mystery thriller and the other one is we call it short stories. Alright, so the first book that I read in January is Before We Say Goodbye by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. This is a series from the Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I believe it's quite popular. So this is one of my favorite series. Look at the cat. Okay, so this is one of my favorite series. Reason being, okay, so basically what's the story about is there is this specific cafe that you go to and you get to go to the past or the future, but you can only sit at that one particular chair. And yeah, so basically it's really that simple, the storyline. But the characters, the people working in the cafe is actually, to me, the ones that I have grown attached to throughout the series. One of the top reasons that I love this series is also because there is a lot of lessons that the reader will learn behind each story. So in each book there would be like, I think 4, 5 or even more stories inside, and yeah, for this one is 4 stories. And somehow the cafe and the people working in the cafe, it tells a story where it's woven and interconnected very well and very smoothly, and it just do bring some tears, some emotional roller coaster while reading. So this series is actually very high in my recommendation list. So you don't have, I believe you don't have to read it in, like, you can read it standalone. You don't have to read the first book and then the second book, which is first book is Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and then Tales from the Cafe, Before Your Memory Fades, and Before We Say Goodbye. I believe this is the last book of the series, I'm not sure. But I do recommend reading from this chronological order. So yeah, I hope, I don't know if you've read it, what are your thoughts? I really love this. It's the kind of book that I would actually reread. So yeah. The next book is The Boy and the Dog by Seishu Hase. So this book wasn't part of my book wish list. I just went to a bookstore one day and I saw it. I like the cover because of the dog. I love animals, and books about animals usually is the kind that attracts me. I would definitely cry with any animals as the main character. I would definitely cry. This is another book that is one of my top list recommendation. It's something similar. The way the story is written and told is almost similar to Before the Coffee Gets Cold. So I think this book is loosely based on the terrible earthquake that happened back in 2011 in Japan. I think it's loosely based on that because the story goes, there was an earthquake in Japan and this dog has been separated from its family, and the story is the journey of the dog trying to get back to the family. But there is a plot twist, which I really didn't expect. So we have a few stories within this book. Like I said, is almost similar to the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series. So we have a few stories that also is a sort of interconnected. It's not sort of, it is interconnected with how you see the journey of the dog and the people it met along the way, and how I like the way each of the little short story end with how the dog, how do I put it without spoiling, how the dog leave the current master to another master. At the end of the book we get to see whether the dog reach its end goal, which is finding the owner or the plot twist. Okay, so this is a book that I would really recommend. I'm quite biased with Japanese literature because so far I've not had any bad books that I've read. But yeah, this is if you really love animals, if you get into stories that will make you cry. And also there are different lessons in this book from each of the story. And the people that the dog encounter, it's really quite easy to relate to because it's real people. And yeah, it's just somehow you just feel closer to the book, to the story as you read. I don't know if it makes sense. So yeah, this is one of my favorite books from my January wrap-up. Okay, now we move on to my next book, which is a mystery thriller. It's another kind of genre that I actually really enjoy reading. I love mystery thrillers, I love horror as well. So mystery thrillers really depends on the way it's written. Most of them are really cliche, I would say, and easy to guess the ending or the whole journey of the story. Okay, so the next one is The Perfect Couple by Lisa Hall. The storyline is almost similar to most, like I said, mystery thriller books. There's two protagonists that you'd think, yeah, it's a perfect couple, but what's hidden beneath their personality or behind the story of whatever this couple is, marriage or relationship. So I did enjoy this book. I give it 4 stars. The only reason that it's not perfectly rated is because it is I could guess what was gonna happen. Obviously there are plot twists that I really enjoyed, but somehow I feel like the writing at times are quite repetitive, and at some points where the plot is, I didn't really enjoy it because it just annoys me. I think it's the protagonist, one of the protagonists really really annoyed me. So there is also some element of supernatural, I think. Was it? I think just a little bit, or maybe it makes you think that it is supernatural from what I believe, from what I read. So yeah, I did really enjoy this. At times I do feel like a drag to read because of the way it's written. Okay, really quickly, the last book is Get in Trouble, Stories by Kelly Link. It's short stories, like I said before. I love that it's read. So this book is a 3 stars for me. It's already in the pile of giving away to libraries and secondhand bookstores because I don't think I enjoyed this book enough for me to have it on my shelves. So we have a few short stories. I do not know why the title is Get in Trouble. So we have a few stories here. This is an old book, by the way. I got this secondhand, so there's a lot of like mold. Yeah, so we have a few stories. I don't know why it's called Get in Trouble, because after I read all the short stories, I try to bring it back to the title and see how it's connected. It is not. To me, I think it is. I don't know how it's connected, but it's not. So there are a few stories that I did enjoy a lot, which is the first story, which is The Summer People. It's an amazing story. It's really intriguing. It's like a guesswork, and it has element of like fantasy as well as I think mystical in a way. There are or is it like mythical creatures, I think. I like those kind of story. It gave me the vibe of like fairy tale, folklore, and I love that genre. And then as you go through the next few stories, it just doesn't stick. It's the kind of book that I'm in between of DNFing as well as you know what, I'll give it a chance because it's short stories, but it just fell flat. The reason why I gave it 3 stars was probably the first story, as well as I think there's another story that I don't really remember. Books that don't leave an impression is books that don't deserve to be on my shelf. So I can't really share a lot with you about Get in Trouble. You can read it up, some reviews from better book reviewers and see it for yourself. But like I always say, I don't like to tell you not to read the book just because I don't enjoy it, because everyone's experience with the book is different. So if you do want to check out this book, go ahead, and you might even have a different opinion from me. I'm quite happy that I get to read 4 books back in January, and because usually the first month of the year I have a lot of things to do for work and the house and everything. So currently I'm reading an ARC. He's a great author. I've read a book by him last year. His name is Nick DeWolf. It's a cool name, by the way. And so far it's a short story as well. So I've been enjoying it, and I'm 90% done with the book, so I can't wait to share it with you all. So that's it for my book thoughts. It's not as good as other book reviewers out there, but if you stay until the end, thank you, and I hope to see you in the next video. Oh, and I am leaving for Japan in 2 days time, so do look out for travel vlogs in Japan, the next video or 2, I guess. So I'll see you around. Thank you for watching. Bye.